will be available for those who couldn't attend today's webinar. As a little introduction, in case you're not aware who I am, I'm the Communication and Administration Coordinator of the Belgian Institute for Sustainable IT. My name is Sarah Michielsen, and today I'll be moderating or introducing you to this webinar. The Belgian Institute for Sustainable IT, what we do, we provide a couple of services, especially for our members. We provide tools, guides and trainings, and we support our members' sustainable IT initiatives in order to serve as a reference point in sustainable IT in Belgium today. What we'll do today is to share knowledge and expertise, and that's why we invite from time to time experts to present tools and others around sustainable IT. We could not make this webinar public and free without our members. Obviously, today we are 76 members in Belgium, and thanks to them, we can obviously share our knowledge to others. We also organize other events, and one big one that took place on the 18th and 19th of June, the Green Tech Forum Brussels. For those who were present during these days, you might have noticed that TCO Certified was very much present, including Barton, who was there with his colleagues and who have already started the discussions on two different levels on, firstly, the theme of sustainable purchasing, and secondly, on the multi-criteria measurement of IT's environmental footprint. Today, we're going to continue the discussion on a different topic, and today, Barton will actually show us the new generation 10 of TCO Certified. And with that, I give you the floor, Barton. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Sarah, and I'll start by sharing my screen to see if everything is working. So let's start with this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. And the second thing that I wanted to do is to thank you, Sarah, and the rest of the team at the Belgian Sustainable IT Institute for giving me the opportunity to share some of the latest developments connected to TCO Certified. So I'm Barton Finn. I'm working for TCO Development, which is the NGO behind the sustainability certification TCO Certified. I'm purchaser manager or purchaser engagement manager, I should say, which basically means that my key responsibility is to support any type of organizations in the use of TCO Certified and the rest of the tools and services that we are developing and offering. So for today, as you said, Sarah, I would like to discuss about the latest developments connected to TCO Certified. So we'll have time to speak a bit more about this in a minute, but we are updating the requirements basically of TCO Certified regularly. And we are just at the end of the latest update process. So the idea for today will be to give you an overview of the main changes that you can expect from the new generation of TCO Certified Generation 10. So in terms of the agenda that I thought about for today, I just wanted to start with a quick introduction of what is TCO Certified. I think probably most of the persons who joined us today are kind of familiar, so I won't spend too much time on this. And then I will move on to, as I said, the update process and the timeline for the latest update process of TCO Certified, so TCO Certified Generation 10. So you have a bit more overview of what has happened already and what will happen in the next month. And then hopefully we'll spend most of the time today on talking and focusing on the key changes in developments that you can expect out of this new generation of TCO Certified. And then, we'll of course have some time to answer any questions you might have on TCO Certified, the latest generation, or any other thing that I might be able to answer. So that's for today. Let's jump in and let's start with a quick overview of what is TCO Certified. So in a nutshell, TCO Certified is a sustainability certification or eco-label for IT products. And this means in a nutshell that our job is about doing two things. First of all, we are responsible for developing sustainability requirements about IT products. So we're developing sustainable performance requirements about IT products. That's the first part of our job. And the second part of our job is to verify the compliance of products that have been, for which brands have applied for the certification. The second part of our job is to make sure that these products are compliant with the requirements that we have set. And if that's the case, we issue a TCO certified certificate for these products, which basically demonstrates that compliance with the requirements that we have set has been checked, and that the result of this analysis is that the product is compliant with the requirements we have developed. So that's what TCO Certified is in a nutshell. So TCO Certified is following all the requirements of the ISO 140 and 24 standard for Type 1 eco-labels, which is the most important standard and the one that is also the generally the one that is recognized for its credibility, and we'll have time to discuss about this in a second. But yeah, following the different requirements of that standard is really important for us, as it's something that contributes to the whole credibility and effectiveness of the TCO certified certification. So as I said, the requirements and the verification system are updated every 3 years, and that's what we're going to focus on today. And the idea behind this update timeframe is to make sure that we continue to push the IT industry in a more responsible direction. So every update, we raise the bar a bit of our requirements and verification system, with the aim of pushing the industry in more responsible directions and to reduce overall the impacts of IT products. Right now, TCO Certified is available or is covering 12 different product categories. And basically, we can say that TCO Certified is covering all the IT products that you can find in an office and all the IT products you can find in a data center. And as we speak, we have 27 brands that have at least one product certified according to TCO Certified. Last but not least, so the certification has been out there for 30 years now. So it didn't start as a sustainability certification, but it's been 30 years that we have an experience in setting requirements about IT products and verifying their compliance. Still regarding TCO Certified, there are some things that are making TCO Certified kind of unique, or that differentiate ourselves from the other eco labels that you can find in the market. So the first element here that I wanted to mention is the fact that TCO Certified is a global sustainability certification, meaning that once a certificate is issued to a product, the certificate is valid all over the world, basically. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that for us, it's really important to focus on the different aspects of the issues connected to IT product and IT product manufacturing. So of course, we have some requirements that are focusing on the environmental impacts or footprints of IT products, but it was also important for us to focus on the social impacts of IT products, meaning essentially the working conditions of the workforce in supply chains. So we have environmental, but also social requirements that are included in TCO Certified. When it comes to the verification of compliance, this is something that is really important to us, and that's why we're spending most of our time on this. So we have calculated that over the last year, we, together with the verification partners that we're working with, we spent 20,000 hours of verification activities in order to check whether products are compliant with the requirements we have set. And we do this on an ongoing basis. compliance. So we verify compliance of products throughout the validity of the certificates that we issue. And then last but not least, accountability is also really important for us. So we have developed a system where basically there are some consequences and some penalties for brands that would not be following the different requirements we have set and that would not abide by the rules of the game. Basically, there are some consequences for these brands, and that contributes also to the whole credibility of the system. Um, so moving on now to the update process. So what you have in front of your eyes is basically the different areas where you can find requirements in TCO Certified. So we are basically developing and targeting, we're developing requirements and targeting these different areas as part of TCO Certified. And as I told you, these different requirements are updated every 3 years. So every 3 years, we're looking at these different areas. We're looking at the specific requirements that we have in each of these areas. And we're thinking and we're developing updated requirements in order to push and raise I guess, the toughness of the requirements further. So yeah, that is something that is happening every 3 years. And now we are just at the end of this update process. We're speaking of generations of the requirements or generations of TCO Certified, meaning that one set of requirements is relating to a specific generation of TCO Certified. So as we speak right now, TCO Certified Generation 9 is still applicable and is still that's still the available generation. And now we are in the last stretch of moving towards Generation 10. So TCO Certified Generation 10, which is about the 10th generation of the sustainability requirements that we impose to products if brands want to certify them. So as you can see, the process started into 2023. So it always starts with some research on our own, where we look at the different criteria that we have or the different requirements, and we see how we can update and go further in these different requirements. The result of this work is a first draft, so a first proposal of requirements that we want to use for the next generation of TCO Certified. So we published a first draft, and as you can see, this was in 2023. And once this first draft is published, then we have some consultation activities with different types of stakeholders. So with IT brands, with organizations that are using TCO Certified as part of their IT procurement process, and also with a representative of the academia. And so we're gathering different inputs as part of these consultation activities, and these inputs are used in order to develop a second draft or a second proposal of the requirements that we want to use going forward as part of TCO Certified. Based on this second proposal, we again have some consultation with the different stakeholders that I mentioned. And at the end of the second consultation round, we issue or we publish the finalized version of the TCO Certified requirements. So we call these the certification documents. And these are basically the requirements that will be that products will have to fulfill if they want to be certified according to the next generation of TCO Certified, so TCO Certified Generation 10. So as you can see right now, we just published the finalized version of the requirements of TCO Certified. So that was beginning of June, basically 1 week ago, if I'm not mistaken. And so now we are in the application period for TCO Certified Generation 10. And what does that mean? Well, it basically means that now brands have the opportunity to start applying, so to start sending in their applications for the products that they want to certify according to TCO Certified Generation 10. So this is really happening as we speak. So brands are preparing and are sending in their application, and that will basically kickstart the verification process on our side and with the verification organizations that we work with in order to analyze whether the products that have been submitted are compliant with the new requirements that we have set. That is going to take some time, of course. So this is going to be ongoing during Q3 and Q4 2024, and in the beginning of December 2024, we will announce the first products that have passed the verification and the certification process, and that managed to get the TCO Certified Generation 10 certificate. So that's really regarding the timeline that you can expect regarding TCO certified and the availability of TCO certified of product certified according to TCO certified generation 10. So these will only be available as of December of this year. Right now, we're still in the application and verification process. Now moving on to the key changes that you can expect for this new generation of TCO certified, there are mainly three big things that I wanted to share with you in advance before going maybe into more into some of the details and of the specific requirements that we're going to include. But in terms of big changes or structural changes that you can expect, the first element that I wanted to mention is that so far, we developed certification requirements per product category. So basically, we had one certification document per product category that was covered as part of TCO Certified. So one criteria document for notebooks, for example, one for displays, one for imaging equipment, and now we decided to develop a general set of requirements with the aim of being able to certify any type of IT products. So basically, we realized that some requirements were common to all the product categories that were covered by TCO Certified, and we decided to take these requirements that were common to all product categories covered by TCO Certified to make it a general certification. So the idea is basically to say, okay, we have specific requirements, for example, for products with a display, and these are not applicable for products that don't have a display, for example. But for certain type of requirements, these requirements can be applicable to any type of IT product. And we decided to gather all of these requirements into one certification document, which is called TCO Certified Generation 10 General. And basically, this document is applicable to any type of IT products. And the idea, of course, is to enable brands to certify maybe some products that they would like to certify and that were not covered as part of the TCO Certified certification. But it's also maybe a way for you or for any type of organization to start asking to their suppliers that some other types of IT products also comply with the requirements of TCO Certified. So it's a bit of a both or two-way perspective here. So right now, this general certification document will be applicable to projectors, imaging equipment, servers, storage, and network equipments. And we are also currently evaluating whether it could also be applicable to keyboards, mouses, webcams, and speakers. And we have other categories that we have in mind, but this is where our mind is going at the moment. The second important change that you can expect or structural change that you can expect out of TCO Certified Generation 10 is some work and development regarding what we call the Sustainable Performance Indicators, so the SPIs. That's the way we call them. So what are SPIs? Basically, SPIs are product-specific sustainability KPIs. So I've been mentioning a lot requirements so far. So of course we have some requirements that are included in the certification documents of TCO Certified. But for other aspects, we don't have specific requirements, but it's mandatory for it to be for these areas to be analyzed and collected as part of the certification and verification process. So basically, regarding certain aspects, we don't ask products to fulfill certain levels, but we are going to check these aspects as part of the verification process, and we're going to collect how well or what's the performance of that specific product in relation to that specific aspect. Um, and so that's what we call sustainable performance indicators. So these are really KPIs that we're collecting as part of the verification process of TCO Certified. And the idea is to offer these KPIs to the organizations that are using TCO Certified so that it can support their sustainable IT procurement, sustainable IT management, or sustainable IT reporting activities. So that was something that was already there in TCO Certified, but we're going to add new SPIs to the current ones that are already available through TCO Certified, and we are also making them accessible through different means. So basically, so far the SPIs were available through the TCO Certified Product Finder, which is basically the database of certified product according to TCO Certified. And we have developed a new tool, which is called the Report Generator, and which is basically a tool that enables organizations to create sustainability reports about the IT product they have in their infrastructure. And SPIs, so all these different KPIs I'm mentioning, will also be available through this report generator. So that's really something that that is kind of new to TCO Certified. If we look at the past and how things have been working in the past. So right now, the new SPIs that we are evaluating, and that I mean, it's already a given that they will be part of TCO Certified in December. But we're talking of a repairability index. We're talking about an SPI regarding the percentage of recycled materials in each certified products. We're talking of an SPI regarding the supported product life for the products. Um, one regarding the energy performance ratio of certified products, and then an SPI regarding the average product carbon footprint of certified products. So these SPIs will be available for products that are certified as of December of this year, and organizations will be able to access and use these SPIs or these KPIs, sustainability KPIs, as part of their sustainable IT policy and activities and efforts in a nutshell. The last thing in terms of the big structural changes that you can expect for TCO Certified Generation 10 is the fact that we decided to focus on 4 key areas that, according to us, were really pressing when we looked at the different issues connected to the IT industry. So these 4 areas, first of all, the first one is climate. So we decided to develop requirements aimed at reducing the climate and mostly the carbon footprint connected to IT products. The second one is circularity. And so this is about making sure that products can be used as long as possible and that their components or their materials can also be reused in new or other products. Then responsible supply chains. As I mentioned, we want to focus also on the social issues connected to the IT industry. So for us, it's important to double down on the efforts and the requirements that we have regarding the working conditions of the workforce in the supply chains. And then last but not least, safer materials. It's also a key issue according to us. The fact that IT products might contain materials that can be hazardous for human health or the environment, and that's really something that we want to tackle through our certification as well, through TCO Certified. So now I'm proposing that we deep dive into the specific requirements, new requirements that you can expect in TCO Certified. And I've organized my presentation in a way to do it focusing on these 4 different areas. So I'll go through the new requirements that you can expect in these 4 different areas. And let's maybe start with a sip of water. And then let's maybe start with climate. So here, there are mainly two key changes or two new additions that you can expect in TCO Certified Generation 10 in comparison to Generation 9. And the first one is that, and that's the first time we're doing this, so it's a kind of a big development. We're going to require final assembly factories, so factories assembling certified products, to use at least 50% of renewable energy in the total energy mix that they're using for their operations. Um, this is kind of a big development because, if we look at the industry right now, some factories are going to struggle with this requirements. And the idea here is really to push the industry towards using renewable energy sources for the manufacturing of IT product in order to reduce the overall footprint connected, or the carbon footprint connected to the manufacturing of IT products. And they will be able to do this either by installing on-site renewable energy production capacity, or by relying or buying renewable energy certificates. And the idea is really to push them to get more familiar with this, and to get and to start including this as part of their operations. And as you can imagine, I mean, most of the factories are located in Asia, and coal is still a big thing for electricity production there. So that was really important for us to include a requirement on this. The second element here, which is also kind of a big development, is the fact that we're going to enable factories and brands to implement product carbon footprint reductions activities as part of their manufacturing processes. So basically, the idea here is to say, okay, we know that there are some best practices that you can implement in your operations in order to reduce the carbon footprint or the carbon intensity of your manufacturing operations. So if you can prove that you have implemented such activities as part of your manufacturing process, then we will recognize you for these solutions, and I'll mention what will be the result of this recognition, but you will be able to get recognition for this for the activities that you have implemented. So that's really what we mean by carbon footprint reductions activities. It will be an open list, meaning that any type of stakeholders, and it will be mainly about the industry, can propose a new activity that can be added to the list. Of course, we will need to check what this activity exactly is and what is the benefit of this activity. But basically, yeah, it's an open list, so anybody can contribute to this list. Activities that will be mentioned in this list will be approved by us. And as I said, this recognition will enable brands to leverage basically this recognition as part of the SPIs that I just mentioned. But so these are the two key changes or additions that you can expect when it comes to the climate bucket of TCO Certified. So moving on to what this recognition will be, why is this recognition useful for brands implementing such carbon reduction activities? Well, it will be useful in one way. So in terms of the SPIs that we want to communicate regarding the climate dimension, we're going, and that's also something new to us, but we're going to provide product carbon footprints for certified products. And we're going to do this based on category averages. I don't have the time to focus too much here on why that is the case, but basically we still think that the carbon footprint assessment solutions out there are still not credible to provide data that are comparable between them and between products. So that's why we decided to rely on category averages. So that's the first SPI that we're going to communicate, but the second one will be the annualized product carbon footprint. And this is, according to me, the most interesting SPI connected to climate, because this SPI is basically about taking the whole carbon footprint of an IT product, dividing it by the number of years this product is going to be used in order to have an annualized figure. And the reason why we're doing this is because, on the one hand, brands that will have gotten the recognition for the carbon footprint reduction activities that they have implemented in their manufacturing activities will be able to deduct the amount connected to the reduction activity that they have implemented to the average that their product have, first of all. But the reason why we want to bring it on an annualized basis is also to push users to use for as long as possible their products. And so as the more years they're going to use their products, the lower the annualized value is going to be. So that's the developments that you can expect in terms of the SPIs for the climate section. Moving on to circularity, here there were essentially 3 key changes that I wanted to share with you. Changes that will come into force for TCO Certified Generation 10 as of December. The first one is connected to the battery longevity. So it's something that we've targeted for numerous years. And for this new generation, we're moving from 80% to 90% state of health retention of the rated capacity of the battery after 300 cycles. So what does that mean? Basically is that, so that's a value or a way which is used in order to assess the longevity of batteries. So basically we're testing batteries, and here you can see it's for 300 cycles, and we have a requirement that the battery, after these 300 charging and discharging cycles, that the battery must still keep 90% of its initial capacity after these cycles. And so here the requirement was at 80% in TCO Certified Generation 9, and now we're moving towards 90%. Still, in order to push for batteries to last for as long as possible, and so for products not to be replaced. The second element that we also wanted to focus on is regarding the replaceability of battery by end user. So we had also a lot of requirements regarding battery replaceability, but now it's the first time that we require batteries to be replaced by the end user with the use of provided or commercially available tools. And that is also a big step forward, I would say, because this means that, basically all of us should be able to replace batteries of our certified equipment without the use of proprietary tools or heating solutions in order to unglue the battery and all of that. This is now prevented or will be prevented as part of TCO Certified Generation 10. And then last but not least, and that's also kind of a new thing for us, because so far we had no requirements on software, but it's the first time that we're going to require brand owners, so IT brands, to commit to providing free of charge security and software updates for at least 5 years after the placement of the product on the market. Still, again, in this idea of being able to use a product for as long as possible and to prevent product replacement, basically. In terms of the SPIs that we're going to add regarding this circularity bucket, I can say, so I already mentioned it, but we're going to communicate about a repairability index regarding certified products. This repairability index will be based on the EN 45555 standard for repairability. Basically, and for those of you who are aware of it, it's basically a standard which is kind of similar to the French repairability index that is quite known, except the fact that it doesn't take into account the price of spare parts. So that's an index or score that will be available for all certified products as part of Generation 10. Um, no, sorry, not for all certified products, for notebooks, tablets, and smartphones certified according to TCO Certified. The second SPI that we're going to add to TCO Certified, it's not yet an SPI, but it's about access to information, is the fact that we're going to require a digital product passport, basically, for all certified products. So this is really about asking brands to provide a unique product identifier that can be accessed through a QR code or something like this, and that should link to a page or a platform where we can access information on the device. And of course, the idea is to be able to track device and for different stakeholders along the value chain of an IT product to track information and relevant information for them regarding this product. And then last but not least, we're also going to provide information on the percentage of identified post-consumer recycled content. So far, we did it for plastic, and now the idea is to also include certain type of metals as part of the information we're providing regarding the circularity aspect of IT products. Moving on to responsible supply chains. Here there were essentially two big changes that I wanted to share with you. The first one, and that's also kind of a big development for us, something that I'm quite proud of, is the fact that we're moving up the supply chain. So manufacturers of display panels bigger than 10 inches will be included now as part of the TCO Certified proactive monitoring process. So basically, so far it was we were focusing on final assembly factories. So we were focusing our verification activities and all the audits that we were verifying and asking. These were focused on final assembly factories. And now we've decided to move up in the supply chain to start addressing also components producers. And we've assessed that panel manufacturers or display panel manufacturers are a good place to start focusing on, since panels have an important impact when it comes to the impacts of IT products. There are also different issues that we know going on in this supply chain. So we decided to include them as part of the proactive verifying and auditing process, which is part of TCO Certified. So that's a big development as well, and this will represent a lot of work for us. But I'm really glad about it. And the second element that I think is relevant to mention here as well is the fact that so far, we asked brand owners to identify when they look at their supply chains, which smelters and refiners of metals they were, or for certain types of metals, so the 3TGs, for those who are familiar with this. So basically, we ask them to identify which smelters and refiners their supply chains were relying on in order to make sure that once issues were connected to some of the smelters and refiners that they were using, that they could change their supply chains in order to only use smelters and refiners that were not linked to conflicts or different types of human rights issues. Now, what we're going to do and what we're going to require from brand owners is to only work and to make sure that their supply chains only use smelters and refiners that participate in third-party auditing programs connected to, again, their their impact from a human rights perspective, or also in terms of not fueling conflicts perspective. So that's the first requirement. And the second requirement is that we're going to require that at least 70% of the smelters and refiners that they use in their supply chains are registered as conformant to these third-party auditing programs, which is a way to push the industry towards being more familiar with these programs and slowly but surely being compliant with these different programs. And then last but not least, I'm looking at time now, but I think we're good. When it comes to the last area that I wanted to mention here, so about safer materials. Here I have to take 1 minute to explain to you how we look at chemicals right now in certified products. So chemicals in IT products are a big issue, and the reason for this is that we have some legislations that are banning certain chemicals because it's known that they have negative impacts on the human health or the environment. But the issue is that nothing is said about the alternatives that are being used by the industry. And we've seen in the past situations where the industry was using alternatives to the banned chemicals that were banned by legislations. And once we started to investigate a bit what was the impact of these alternatives, we found out that they were equally hazardous as the ones that were banned, or sometimes even more hazardous. So in relation to this, instead of following the path of legislation, which is basically about creating blacklists of chemicals that cannot be used in IT products, we decided to create whitelist. And so the approach is completely different, and it's actually the opposite. Instead of saying this is the list of products or of chemicals you cannot use, we're saying this is the list of chemicals, and only these chemicals you can use because these chemicals have been assessed prior to their use as safer from an environmental and human health perspective. And we have developed this approach so far when it comes to the plasticizers that were used in products, when it comes to the non-halogenated flame retardants, but also when it comes to some of the process chemicals that were used by the workforce in final assembly factories, mainly cleaning ingredients and cleaning products. And now what we're doing, and that's also a big development, we're going to add to this approach, the whitelist approach, so the TCO Certified Accepted Substance List approach, we're going to add vinyl polymer stabilizers, so PVC stabilizers, which are also connected to a lot of issues when it comes to human health perspective mainly. So these are also going to be added to the TCO Certified Accepted Substance List, and so only safer alternative to vinyl polymer stabilizers are going to be used in TCO certified products as of December 2024. And also something that can be interesting to know is that we will start to collect data about adhesives and lubricants that are used by the workforce as part of the manufacturing process. And that's always how we work. So in the previous generation, we started to collect data about vinyl polymer stabilizers. And now we're going to do that for adhesives and lubricants so that in the next generation of TCO certified, so generation 11 this time, we can add this adhesives and lubricants to our approach of working with chemicals. Yeah, that was essentially it in terms of the big changes that you can expect in TCO Certified. I have to tell you that this is just an overview. There are many more changes that are going to happen for TCO Certified Generation 10. But in terms of the big news and developments, these were some of the major developments that I wanted to share with you. Also have to remind you that TCO Certified is bigger than just what I mentioned. Of course, all the other requirements that were already applicable in the previous generations of TCO Certified are staying here. What I just presented to you is the new additions to TCO Certified. And really, with the 2 minutes I have left, because I really want to make time for questions, I just want to give you a bit more information about this new tool that I spoke about in the beginning, which is called Report Generator, and which is basically a tool that is designed to enable you to create sustainable reports regarding the IT products that you have in your infrastructure, leveraging all the different SPIs that I've been discussing and presenting to you. So you can see we have divided these different SPIs into the different areas that we want to focus on. And this report is going to provide you with aggregated data about the different products that you have entered in the tool. So I'm not going to spend too much time showing you how the tool works. I'm just going to take 1 minute to show you how the report looks like. And for this, I need to share another page, which is actually, I'm going to share my entire screen. All right. Hopefully it's still working, but that's basically what a report from the report generation generator looks like. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go too much into the details, but you find here the products that I have entered before the call as an example. So I entered a notebook, some notebooks, some displays, and some desktops. And then you start having some insights or some sustainable data regarding the products that you have entered. The first one is regarding the carbon emissions. So nothing really strange here. You have the breakdown according to the different scopes and the breakdown according to the different product categories. Which can be useful in order to help you assess, okay, it makes more sense that I focus on the displays or the notebooks in this case instead of the desktops. We're providing also some information regarding what would be the impact of using products for 1 more year, 2 more years, or 3 more years from a carbon footprint perspective in order to nudge users into using product for as long as possible. We're providing information on the safer substances that have been used or that might be used as part of the manufacturing of the products that are covered in the report. We're providing information regarding the circular footprint, I guess, of certified products by having a breakdown of the weight, but also a breakdown of the composition, so PCR plastic, virgin plastics, and other materials. And as you know now, we're going to include some metals also in this breakdown as of December 2024. Again, an illustration of what would be the impact from a e-waste generation perspective of using products for 1 more year, 2 more years, or 3 more years. And then last but not least, when it comes to responsible supply chains, we're also providing an estimate, a relatively credible estimate of the number of workers that were involved and that were covered as part of the TCO Certified proactive monitoring process in final assembly factories connected to the specific products that have been entered in the tool. So that's essentially it. I'll stop there to see if there are any questions. I haven't had the time to look at the chat, so I'm doing it right now. But maybe Sarah, if you already got some question, just let me know.
Thank you very much, Barton, for this very insightful webinar and presentation. I think we've covered a lot of new information that we need to digest. Just to let you know, I'm going to stop the recording now.